Welcome to With You Every Step, the solo travel podcast that explores, explains, and hopefully inspires you to travel the world by yourself. I'm your host, Michelle Lee. Welcome back to With You Every Step. This week I have a guest all the way from Peru. It is Herlin Apaza Tumpay, and he was my guide and Heidi's guide in Peru. He is amazing. I hope you enjoy listening to him. Please be patient. Peru does not have the best internet connection, so we did have a little bit of trouble. It was dropping in and out quite a lot, so please be patient. It's not the best sound quality that I've produced, but it's as good as I could get with this interview. Hopefully I'll get Herlin back, and hopefully we'll have a better connection next time. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Here's Herlin. Thanks, Herlin, for joining us today. How are you? I know you're in Peru at the moment. Whereabouts are you exactly?
I am in Cusco City.
Now, Herlin, you're a guide, and a lot of my listeners want to know what it takes to be a guide. So what kind of training did you have to do to be able to be the guide that you are today?
I've been doing different jobs. I've been working as a porter first for 5 years. Then I started to be a chef. Then I've been working like 10 years later. And all of this time I was working as a chef. I've been studied to be a guide. Then working as a chef helped me a lot to recognize the road. Then the kind of difficult thing was to learn in English. But now I think I can say at least hello to people coming from outside, no?
Yeah, I think your English was good. I had no problem being able to talk to you at all. So when you said you were studying to be a guide, did you have to go to university to be a guide?
Yes, all of the guys, we got to study. So without study, you cannot be a guide. So nobody can offer you a license for free. So that's one career here in Peru.
Okay, so you need to have a license to be able to guide.
Yes, also we have to be part of the union as tour guides, and then the national park offers us another extra license. So thanks to that, we are able to work as a guide. Otherwise, so the national park cannot able to give you license, not that you can be available to go Inca Trail.
Okay, is that just for the Inca Trail section?
That's the main mine that we have in Cusco City, especially in Peru. But with the same license, look, all the final destination is Machu Picchu. Without license, you cannot get it Machu Picchu.
Oh, okay. You were my guide, and we only did one day on the Inca Trail. And I have spoken about this on my podcast before, how I struggle with heights, and you're amazing with me, helping me over my little panic attack. What is the biggest problem that other people find on the Inca Trail that you have to deal with?
In the beginning, I used to have listening, and that's not my native language. Maybe we didn't understand each other's well. Most people complain about it. Location is, it's a steeper section and it's high elevation, especially when we do 4 days hike. That's like 13,700 feet. That's the really highest elevation. And the weather is changed. For example, this cloudy, and then you cannot see it any good views. People complain about it.
Have you had anyone fall?
Yeah. So people the path is not quite uniform. We have up, down, and then some stones kind of loosen ones. If you're not paying attention where you're stepping, for sure people happen this kind of problems.
What do you do to help people if they have fallen?
No, luckily we receive the course by paramedics every single year. What we can do is and how much you can make your body. And we help you. We evacuate you in the hands of the doctors like that. It's a little bit complicated. We use humans to carry you like in a stretcher.
Yeah, okay. What do you love about being a guide?
I like to share my culture, like talking part of historical part, also customs traditions. And also, I have chance to hear different customs that you brought from outside for us, not how it's the civilization there, and then what's the different here. Sometimes we laugh about we laughing about it, but in the end that's real. Like Peru is still preserving our culture, and that's like what I like it to share with every foreigners coming to visit us.
And that's what I loved about Peru is that it is still very, I would say basic to the way that we live here in the big cities in Australia and around the world in other big cities. Peru has got that really basic feel. A lot of people grow their own food and the food is amazing. It is quite great to see that when you come from a big city. Can you give me a little bit of background about Peru? And something that you told me that I thought was really interesting was what the word Inca meant. Can you give me a little bit of information about that?
Sure. Look, now we still speaking local language here. And then, but look, now our culture nowadays is really mixed. So because we were introduced by European, which is Spanish people, and they introduced the Spanish language here. Then, luckily, people who are not living in the cities, they still speaking local language, and these people are considered like aborigines, descendants of the ancient culture called Incas. And thanks to this people, we are able to understand what does that mean Inca. Inca means the leader, like a government. So that was no means Inca. The rest of population used to call Quechuas because they were speaking Quechua language.
Okay, so like a king?
Uh-huh. Like a king.
Yeah, that's what I thought was interesting is that the Inca meant king and not the people, which I don't know, I guess I just thought that it meant Inca people was the name of the people, but it's the time of the Incas.
Yeah. We say Incas just to understand more, much easier for because in the books always say it and Incas, no. But here we try to clarify what does that mean Inca. This is unique man. Incas never existed. We don't say Incas here in Peru. We say Quechuas or people who live in the Andean. We say Andinos.
And you grew up in the Andes, didn't you?
Yeah, I grew up in the Andes. So 11, 12 years old, I moved to Cusco City. That was like good for continue my study because at the village it wasn't on school. Also was really far away, and it wasn't good education. So the professors came like 4 days a week, and for us still like it's not good kind of good education in the highlands because the distance for travel is difficult to choose a road and takes a lot of time, no? Sometimes when the landslides happen and then roads block it, and it's quite difficult to get there, even for the professor in case wants to be on time too. So that's why the main point I moved to Cusco City, but I'm still speaking Quechua language with them still.
Heidi and I have done an episode on the adventure that we went on when we went up the mountain and we got stuck in the snowstorm, and we spoke about that and how challenging we found that. You seem to be fine with it, but what I found was most amazing is how you knew your way. There weren't actual paths that we took. How do you learn that? How do you remember where to go?
More or less, we are looking at like whenever you are doing pictures, for example. I'm concerned like which way should I go because like cover the snows, you lost the path and you have to figure it out. That maybe we didn't step exactly in the same way, but we try to go a little gradually up to measure, the summit. Like that's the direction that you should to go. Like maybe taking shortcut or longest trail, but the point is the summit. So always are pointing to get summit.
Okay, so you were making the path up as you were going. I had no idea that you were doing that. I thought we were following an actual path.
But we will try, but for sure, like we were cutting on some section because we tried to find it like gradually up. So in some section was a step, so you cannot find that the step easily. You cannot like it's slippery, to the back wall, so which is not good idea. So.
Especially in the conditions that we were in when it was hailing and snowing and we didn't have snow boots on. And
yeah, also in this kind of situation, we might get lost easily. Can you imagine we're covered like a cloud right after snow and with the hills? What direction you should to go, right?
Oh my gosh. I guess that's the bonus, isn't it? That we didn't have that mist and the the fog there so we could actually see where we were going.
Yeah, so in this case, like this is like luckily when I was working as a chef, I've been there for us to go back like more than 10 times or 15 times. It's a little bit easier because we know like what direction we should go.
Yeah. I never questioned or doubted you once. You definitely know what you're doing, and I trusted you. And I'm glad that Heidi and I both spoke about that, and we're glad that we went with the company we did. Can you explain a little bit about the company that you work for and what they do with the money as well? Because I know that it goes back in to Peru.
And the owner, it's one of my classmates when we were at the university, but at the time that I met with him, I was in Inca Trail working as a porter. And then we started to be a guy, and then we were working in one company. And it's quite difficult to work for one person, and that's why he decided to open a business. He's Valentin. He's doing a good projects. I saw in a picture. I wasn't with him, and he was offering a like soccer game and socks to the porters because he was a porter too. It's really cool to even cover your cold that you can avoid it to get what is it a cold. Also, he's helping to one pronoi we say like a kindergarten school,
Oh, yes.
and many children he made it a room or like a house. Also, like this children's like to play between them, so not running like a park a little bit. Valentin's is not doing more than 2 years. The business is like 1 year, a little bit more. So in this year, he's doing a really good things. Hope on he still help to other communities because there are many communities doesn't have that help or that chance, for example. So it's quite difficult for us too because there are many small countryside needed for help. And there is not enough money or there is not enough budgets that we can help everyone. It's like step by step or countryside by countryside. I think that's the idea of him because he's coming as well like family by Quechua speaker.
Yeah, I think it's good. You say that there's no money, but the problem is there is so much money coming into Peru, but it's not staying in Peru because Inca Trail is booked out all the time. But these are going through big companies, aren't they? And the big companies take the money elsewhere. The reason we decided to go with you is that you're a local company, and I love the fact that you put the money back in to Peru because, like you said, the people there need it. But the Inca Trail is booked out all the time.
Yes, all time. It's really hard for, like you say, there's a big companies that book all their space. Luckily that we found a two space for us because like less than 10 minutes the space is sold out because there are hundred of companies are trying to do this one's like you sold and you got a space and then you still are reselling to another companies and to make big groups. That's like another weird things business happening here. This is how you can get it some money for you. It's another strange things and how locals try to get it some money. But about it, for example, the Machu Picchu tickets like that. So all of this money goes to the main capital, which is Lima, or the main hands of the government, the ministers. And then these people doesn't spend enough money to what is say clean the path and make some restoration of the Inca sites like that. It's really small percent back to Cusco. That's like a big monopoly too in Peru. So the way how we did, for example, they stay in a house of local and use like local men like horsemen or the men on like chef. Myself, for example, we were mainly like 100% locals.
Mm.
So this is like what we are doing. Like it's not just Valentina, other companies is doing. I like that how people start to offering other opportunities, like which is not just Inga amazing things that we can show you to Peru. That's like many companies start to doing that activity.
Yeah, and that's what I say to people when people say to me, "Oh, you went to Machu Picchu, how was it?" I said it was amazing, but I actually enjoyed the other parts of Peru that you took us to and we got to see because it was off the beaten track. It wasn't where every person goes to. So we really got to see how beautiful Peru is. We did a homestay that you took us to. Can you explain a little bit about what we did and how we got there and where we stayed? Because I can't remember the actual name. I know we call it Little Cusco, but I know that it has a traditional name.
Yeah, for sure. That's called Hochi Cosco. Hochi Cosco. Hochi in the local language means small. Cusco is still like the main capital of the Incas. What happened is this, going back our history, there were other civilizations called Chancas Bire to Incas, and Incas escaped there, and then they survived for a while, and then reorganized there, and then back to Cusco again to do it like second civil war. Thanks to that, Cusco back again the main capital. No, that's why we call it small Cusco city right over the mountains. It's this, the community as well is called Huchi Cusco, that we say it is small Cusco.
Okay. We hiked. This is only our, I think, second day when we got there. And so I was still struggling a lot with altitude, which I'm assuming you see this a lot because the altitude is very high there.
Yeah, it's really high, but for us, for local, it's not problem because since we are children, so we are behind llamas, alpacas. You know, llamas, alpacas, always climbing over this steeper section over the mountains, and then we have to go there running or walking, whatever. So, doing this activity very often, our lungs bigger, and then we are able to breathe well at these elevations. No. So our loans are bigger than the people who grow up in the cities because we're still doing all the activities. Children's like 7 years old always are in charge to provide a grass for the guinea pigs, and the grass always we farming outside of pond, so at least like couple of meters away, you know. So always has to go these people to grow this one. So it's like activity always we're doing that.
And how do you deal? I think you had oxygen, didn't you, with you in case someone is struggling a lot, they need oxygen. I think you were carrying some with you.
Yes, I've been doing that in case could happen like emergencies. We never know because in one day we cannot each other we cannot each other well. So most of you you're coming by sea levels. Also, it's part of the regulation. The companies when we go Inca Trail, the national park check us. So without that, you cannot go. You know that's part of the regulations too. But to go other trails, so for emerging cases, and we carry that. That's our main responsibility too. Not to see you more happy, like on one little things can change your mind, or you can say like you're not professional like that. So that's like part of our job too, to carry the oxygen. That's one way how we can help you in case could happen like really hard read time, like you were like 5,000 meters. It's like 16,000 feet more or less we were. That's
Hmm.
really high elevation, right?
It is really high elevation. I've never been that high in my life. And I wasn't high on anything apart from actually being high in life.
Uh-huh.
Can you give my listeners some advice on if they're preparing to do the Inca Trail, things that they should maybe bring with them or something that they can do that might help them do the Inca Trail a bit easier?
Yeah, you should, for example, on regular pants, like really light, in case we get wet, you can get dry easily, kind of dry fits. Rain gear is really important for sure. Also, you should do it like sun activity, at least volleyball or swimming. People who are swimming, they have chance to adapt it quite easily. And here on mountains, you have to breathe underwater swimming. I've been seeing it people who are doing that. I don't know what should I say. The people take a kind of oxygen in the back and swimming like a really deep side of water. How do you call that kind of sport or what kind of activity?
Diving?
Driving. Yeah,
Scuba
yeah. These
diving? Yep.
people, scuba driving. So these people adapt to quite easily with the weather here, with the elevations.
Yeah, okay. And what other things should people bring with them for the Inca Trail?
Just like a rain gear, no, like a t-shirts and dry feet and socks is really important. a kind of merino walls that keep you warm. Avoid in case of raining, and simple socks cannot keep you warm, cannot heat you better. So like sometimes we fix. I wear two socks always. Then a good hiking boot has to be. I think gear is really important. That's. Can you imagine they're breaking your shoes or whatever? So no
Actually,
way how you can repair there.
I do remember you telling me a story about somebody not preparing and not coming properly dressed for the Inca Trail. Do you know the story that you
Yes.
told me?
Yes, but there is no shops there. That's like harder things. So in the national park, there is no activity that you can do. It's like hotel or hostel, whatever. You are nature is there.
Yeah, do you remember the story you told me about somebody coming in the
Uh-huh.
wrong shoes?
Yes. Uh-huh. Like with the health, right?
Yes. Someone you told me came to do the Inca Trail in high heels.
Yes, yes, yeah, that was in my group. And the girl was really nice perfume. I was like happy to walk close to her, but that's kind of experience change. And then she finished the hike wearing rubber sandals that we offered. And it was wearing one of the local people, Chasqui or Porter, we said.
Did her heel end up breaking? I mean, it's not a place to wear heels. It's muddy, it's everything.
Yeah, well, one of the sides break, and then the other one we break. It's like for a while, just to the same level. you know One is a little higher, the other one's a little yes.
So, if you're listening, do not wear high heels on the Inca Trail. It's not appropriate. It's not what you should be doing. Wear flats. No, don't even wear flats. Wear hiking boots. You need hiking boots.
Yeah. Yes. Also, the weather's really changeable here. Yeah, it's quite difficult when you're in that situations. Like for Inca Trail, you should to be prepared, bringing your own equipment or gears. Also, you have to be prepared that you're gonna receive a 4 weathers in one day. It's couple of hours later change so quickly as you saw here. It's one is like we are in the last sections of the dry mountains, also part of the like the green Andes. So that's why the weather's so changeable here.
So, wet weather gear is the most important thing you think people need to bring with them, as well as hiking boots and not high heels. And do they need to bring hiking sticks with them, or that mostly they're provided?
You can hire here. There is a store, but if you brought with you, you know like what quality could be. Like companies, some of us we like to offer you like a good and a proper equipments, but there are other companies offer you like really cheap, and sometimes you're not finished to hiking, or you're not finishing tourism, somewhere break it. It's like avoid this kind of taken or misunderstanding. We
Hmm.
suggest you bring your own. For example, a sleeping bag, you're able to hire here, but it's like used by someone, so maybe we cannot land really well, or in case you're allergy for some things, and also we suggest you brought your own. No? Like has to be minus 15 or 20 minus degrees Celsius. I think has to be like not 30, 40 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, no, I think it's less than that for Fahrenheit because it's minus. Yeah. So I know that I did that. You took me to a store in Cusco and I went and hired a sleeping bag. And I'm glad I did because the one I was going to take with me definitely would not have cut the temperature because I think it was at least minus 20. Don't you think? What was it when we were up on that mountain?
I think it was even more than minus 20.
Yeah, it was really cold.
Yeah, like but mine is minus 16, and then I put it two liners inside, and then I put it long johns, and then my hiking pants. Over that, I put it my rain pant too. Then over that, we put it blankets of the horseman.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we survived there. As you saw, we sleep over the wet things.
Mm-hmm.
Really cold.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I hired that. Thank God I did, because yes, I would have froze to death otherwise, literally, because it was that cold up there. Have you had many other incidents like that incident that you had with us, or was that just a one-off?
Many times people will feel sick and then they couldn't stand up well, so you shaking. and lose the what is it, this one's the mental and cannot talk about, well, they were really sick, and I've been carried like 2 hours away, like a really by a really high elevation to lower one. So in this case we have to avoid it to have first hypothermia, and the other one it's brain edema and lung edema. That's really serious situations. So in this case, no, we hire people, then we evacuate it as lowest elevation that we can find. So in this case, and we are in emergency, and we don't care about it and the hike in the situation that we needed to go, like final destination. So we have to evacuate it any directions we can find, that later on we can fix that. For us also it's important save your life, so later on we can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another main reasons, like the doctors told us like how important is save the life.
That's right. Yeah, and we felt safe with you at all times. We spoke about how you guys did everything to make us warm, and you barely had blankets on you because you'd thrown all of them on Heidi and I to make sure that we were safe. And then we were worried how cold you guys were going to be, even though you can probably cope with it a bit better than we could, especially me coming from Melbourne where we don't get snow at all. Yeah, you did a great job, and we felt safe with you at all times, and we know that our safety was your priority, and that's why I would recommend going through you guys all the time over anywhere else, because that's exactly what we felt. Can you give me a quick little rundown on Machu Picchu and why it's so famous and why everybody wants to go and do the Inca Trail and get there?
So I think for most of us, it's considered, or I don't know how to say, back the list, I think so. Also, it's one of the seven wonders of the world. So belongs of the ancient culture, which is surviving 500 years ago. It's quite intact. It's located right in the jungle. Never was founded by spawners. And the people wants to feel the energies. Like a lot of people who like to do meditations, also to receive the energy of the constructions, quality of the stone. People like to be there. I've been leading the groups who come in from Mexico, from Chichen Itza last week ago, and they were really happy there because according to how they said, for them the city was really bright and a really energetic one. And that was like another good thing. So there are many ways how you can enjoy this. So like I think in the end you share the experience, and and different way that you enjoy, that's make more famous. That's like added more things that the people can visit us to Peru. So but mainly it's the historical one, and then one of the city located in the jungle is quite intact. It wasn't touched about it in the spawners. Also, it's like one of the great evidences that we can see it, how was the constructions. Thanks to that, we are able to say it part of our history too.
It's quite amazing how they built it, how they had a system, because they had a water system, draining system too, didn't they?
So this is like the man Kenneth Wright, I think so, was one person who was studied for a longer time, but he was part of the American Society of Civil Engineer, who came in as a professional to study that, and something like 2,000 liters of water can contains in 1 meter square. It's a lot of water there per year. That's this kind of water can push it to the constructions. Thanks to that drainage system, it's keeping it stable that Machu Picchu. It's one of busy, really biggest rock surrounding that's like how it's keeping it stable. That the location is so incredible. Even myself, I cannot believe it. How they could to choose that place, as Incas. So it's really amazing to be there. All the times when I go there, I enjoy myself.
It is. It's beautiful. And we were lucky enough that you took us super early in the morning, which I think is a good tip to anyone wanting to go. I would go first thing. Well, we didn't go quite first thing. What time does it open?
It's 6 in the morning, but now it's changed the time. So right after to lead you next month, change the regulations. And the tickets mention that you should go in the morning or in the afternoons. So now it's harder to decide it if you want to go earlier. They are like more than 3,000 people. Another one is the national park doing studies, and we want to avoid it to have biggest impact about weight. They are going to regulate it more, I think. So we are going to stay there like 3 or 4 hours maximum, and then right after we have to leave. I think that is will be happening in the future. Lots of us were complaining about it, but nothing to do. The professionals are standing behind this ones, but we have to just respect the time what the tickets mention it's on. Also, and the time that you are buying the tickets, it's already mentioned that. So yeah, it's changing regulation. Yeah, luckily that we were there, but in case in case you book in advance, for sure we still helping you to take you very early there. No, it's like good things too to see a sunrise. So yeah, it's a beautiful place.
It was beautiful, and it was good because when you took us through, you being a guide were able to take us through and explain everything to us. And I can't remember how long we were in there for with that tour with you, but we were able to stop and have a look at things and really enjoy it. But then later on, Heidi and I went back in, and it was like cattle. We were getting moved around. We couldn't stop at all. We couldn't take photos, which is the whole reason we kind of thought we'd go back in. And it wasn't worth it. We just had the best time with you, and we were able to take our time. So that's why I was like, yeah, definitely go early in the morning. But if they're changing things, then maybe late afternoon might be the best time to go as well. But you don't get to see the sunrise over it, which was quite beautiful.
A month ago, I did another group, and then we recommended to get it tickets now for the morning and also from the afternoons. Like, yes, enjoy there. That was like another options. For sure, there are a lot of options that we can fix that, but we have to just respect the national parks. So it's right. Our unique mind. If we're not protecting that, we're going to a ruin, and then so we're not have that industry, not tourism too, and that's like one of the big concerns for us as well, for locals.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great to have you on. I might get you back on in a later date, and we might discuss something, maybe Machu Picchu in depth, and we might do an episode on that because I know everyone is so interested with the history behind it, and you are the man. Your history knowledge is phenomenal, and I was so lucky to have you as my guide. So I will put all the details in for Valentine's. So if anyone wants to go and join, and ask for Herlin if you want, because he's the man. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, it's a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to With You Every Step, hosted by Michelle Lee. We do hope you enjoyed listening, and if you did, make sure you tell everybody. If you didn't, nobody likes a Debbie Downer. Please subscribe to get up to date with our latest releases, and give us a thumbs up on our social media at With You Every Step. We love to hear from you. If you have any questions or inquiries, head to the Contact Us page at our website, michellelee.com. That's also where you'll find all our blogs mentioned in the podcast. We love to hear from you, and if we have inspired you to travel, thanks for listening. Love life and adventure on.